We'll just give this till another 3 minutes, and then we'll make a start. Yeah, we'll make a start now then. So yeah, we've got a few really good and big updates for everyone tonight. The big one that everyone's been waiting for, we've just got confirmation, and I think we've either put the post out or we will be putting the post out tonight. So everyone, please go to the social media channels and like and share the post, please, if you can. But yeah, we've had 12,000 visors now arrive at IGUS, all been counted today. So over this week and next week, IGUS will be getting these out of the door to where they need to be. Now, we just obviously need to bear in mind these are 12,000 visors that I think roughly around about, I think it was 4 people at IGUS who were on the assembly line there. So we've got to bear in mind that it's going to take them a while to package 12,000 visors up. So yeah, we'll be constantly putting updates out about that, where they're going and who's receiving them, and yeah, we'll start having a lot more social media posts out about that. The other big one we need to mention is about the quality control checks. I know we keep banging on about it, but it is really, really important that you please, when you finish your print, allow it to cool down for a minute or so, take it off the print bed, and put it on your head straight away. Make sure that it's comfortable. There's no nicks or anything that can scratch your head. Take it off, inspect it, and clean the print down. And yeah, just please do a really thorough quality control check before you send it, because we've had in a lot of complaints about the visors being rejected at IGUS. But they are going above and beyond in terms of quality control checks. They're checking every single visor, and but we can't expect to give these out as donations to people who critically need them, and they're not up to the quality that they'll be expecting. At the end of the day, it can put them at risk if they just receive this trusting that it's going to be good quality, put it on the head, scratches the head, and then they've got an open wound which can be a site for infection or even worse. So yeah, please do check your quality of all your prints before you send them. Yeah, we can't stress that enough. So I mean, apart from that, I think, is any of the other admin team want to say anything at the moment? And then we'll move to some questions. Right, I think we'll just move on to some questions. I'm currently on my phone, by the way, everyone, so if some of the admin team can read out some of the questions, we'll get them answered.
Yeah, so we got House of Chung, 12,000 visors or headbands. We're referring to the clear plastic visors. 12,000 with 2,200 printers. How long? 1 week, 1 month, or 400 a day. So it's not. You've got to bear in mind. Yes, there are 4 people on the production line at IGUS or something similar to that. I'm not 100% sure of exact numbers, but they're not just packaging these up, they're also taking in the incoming visors, so they've got to do both jobs. So if anything, now their work's just doubled. So that's why we're saying obviously it's not going to be a couple of days and then they're all packaged up. It's going to take a bit of time to get that work through.
Yeah, I think the main thing is going forward from now, though, that we're going to have a consistent, a steady supply of these protective face shields out to where they need to be now. And now we've secured quite a lot of visors. We've got more in the pipeline that will be coming very soon. We'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, now what's going to be happening is we're going to see a consistent, steady supply of putting these out there, which is really good.
Yeah, Michael Gain, how about gap deliveries that have been in transit for a week? Yes, there was a backlog at Igus, but there was a gap that then shifted to being a backlog at Igus when all those parts suddenly turned up. Igus, I believe, have now cleared through most of the backlog. There may obviously a few packages that depend on whether they get delivered in the day, depending on when they get opened. Gap, I'm aware that there are a couple of select Gap locations which haven't shipped packages. It is isolated to a couple of Gap locations. It's not the whole lot. Looking into it, we're getting that sorted as soon as possible. We have a central contact at Gap. We don't contact directly to the Gap locations. That's managed by them centrally. So it takes a little bit of time to get that fixed, and for them to actually arrange that move and moving them forward to Igus. This is also why we've turned off the least used Gap locations. As we said before, we're looking at moving Gap from the the start of the process to the end of the process to help with distribution of completed visors, not as much as drop-off points. And obviously, that's why we recommend people use buy boxes. There's plenty of buy boxes out there for pretty much most people. I have seen a couple of areas that aren't covered though, but that's why we've left those Gap locations turned on for now. JJ Maurice, what is the clear screen supply like now? What is the total funding available for clear screens? I think it's probably a Mason question there.
Yeah, sure.
Question, Mason?
Yeah, Therese would be the best one to answer this, actually, yeah.
Thank you. So, hi, it's Therese. I've been very much focused on trying to secure as many of these clear screens as possible, as you probably heard from previous YouTube calls. So the first batch has obviously arrived today of these particular visors are actually polycarbonate, they're clear. The next batch is due to arrive by next week, and they will be PET-G. There is another batch due to arrive next week, which are APET, and then the week after that, there's another that should be quite a big, large batch of 30,000 visors, and they will be PET again, and they will be the super clear. It's a double bond, it's an ABA bonded PET, which is APET, which is the virgin material, very clear, and then bonded with our PET, and then APET again. So there should be something now coming through every week to keep us going. We just need lots and lots of headbands to go with them.
Yeah, in regards to the funding, obviously we've I need to double check again. I haven't checked today, but in the bank accounts last time I checked, we had I think £14,000, which obviously a big part of that will be going towards the 30,000 visors that we've got coming. We obviously waiting on that invoice to pay that. And also some other news we've also got now. We're waiting now for the full testing from SATRA for the CE approval. We've paid for the full CE test, so that should be getting through quite quickly now. But yeah, we're looking also now and putting something in place so we can get some more filament in as well, so we can make sure that we've got enough filament there for the reimbursements for when people start handing more and more of these visors through the door.
The question from Richard Blackwell: are you assembling these before dispatch? I think, to be fair, we're using the word assemble probably in completely the wrong sense. It's more package than assemble. They're put flat packed into a clear plastic wallet with relevant documentation, clear plastic screen, and the headband itself. They're not put together and then put in a box. Obviously, that would be a lot of shipping air around. So it is more packaging than assembling. Do we have any directors present at these YouTube calls? Seems there is a complete lack of contact between them and us. Normally we would have Jay as well, but he's not here. But we've got Mason. He is one of the directors.
Yeah. I'm here, obviously. Yeah. From the other directors, for instance, Alan and stuff like that is, you got to bear in mind that they're on the board, they're not really involved as heavily into this project, because the National 3D Printing Society does do other things like its education platform and such. So they're keeping that running, and this is why we formed this great team around the project. And obviously, myself and Jay are overseeing this at the moment.
Cool. Joseph, I don't think there are 2,200 printers. We have 50 printers and have done 50,000 since 2nd of May. Sorry, Richard, I don't quite understand what your question. Well, what the question is. I think you're more making a point to somebody else. Sorry, reading through a couple of these. Improved design manuscript.
I'm just reading. Sorry, go on.
Go on. So, kind of a double whammy from Andrew Waters here, saying he's got the improved design of the manuscript with Jay. I know Jay, at the minute, he's also a uni student as well, with deadlines that have been hitting him. So just if you bear with. I
was going to say I'm going to
hear our double hatting.
I was going to say I'll find someone to get also on that. Andrew, if you want to, I'm not going to have time tonight, but I'll try and see if we can make some time tomorrow. I'll have a conversation with yourself and see if you want to take that forward, and making sure that the face mask grips. If you want to lead that part of the project, then yeah, more than happy to. I'll just have a quick conversation with yourself tomorrow. If you let me know what time's best, and we'll get that sorted this week.
Guys, if you've got any questions, or just whack them in the YouTube chat. We can probably try and get around to them. So also as well, be aware, guys, as we did say before, tonight at midnight is the final deadline for the 3.X headbands, as that will get turned off at midnight tonight. So if you've got orders you've already put in and they're packaged and you just need to put them in a box that you've already made your packing label, that's fine. It's not a problem. Please drop them off. They'll be accepted and points will be awarded appropriately, obviously, assuming they pass quality control. But yeah, you won't be able to submit any fresh donations after midnight tonight with those 3.6. Or I think there's a couple of different versions that people may necessarily have, but any of the 3.X bands. How many frames have you got in stock now? 12K question mark. When do you order clear screens for these? Sorry, let me read that again. I'm completely failing at reading here. How many frames have you got in stock now? Question mark. 12K question mark. When did you order clear screens for these? And is there an only delay, or do you need CE approval to get them accepted? So stock of the frames, if I change my screen, so we've got the V3s received at IGUS, which we probably are more set figures, which is stuff we can work with now. We've got 19,000, and then for the version 7s, we've got 2,000 are sat there. Plus we've got 2,300 odd of the mask grips as well. As for the C, are we waiting for CE approval for them? I'm going to pass that one off to Mason, and then along with the clear sheets, or Therese, sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so when did we order the clear screens? So I think it was about just over a week ago that we told you again on another YouTube call that we had clear screens ordered in the pipeline, and this is what's now come through. There are lead-in times for every company that manufactures these or cuts them, and we're now at that point where the lead-in time has come to fruition and we're starting to get them through. There are still, this is why it's now set up like a consecutive week thing. So for the next 3 weeks, we should be receiving more batches every week. Obviously, there are difficulties out there in the market because there are people who are playing dirty and trying to take over priority queues and things like this. We've had to fight our way through as well. And, at least we've got there, and we're now at a point where they're going to come through in batches. With regards to CE approval, no, we do not need to wait for CE approval first to order all the clear screens. What we did do, which was, I hope you all feel is proactive, is that we sent our materials off to SATRA, which is one of our notified bodies that do CE approval. They tested the materials first before we then go and order lots and lots of stuff of these items, just so that we can make sure we're ordering the right materials. And that way we know we're not going to waste our donation money. We don't want to be buying stuff that is not going to be any good. Now, the preliminary tests, as you all know, had come in from SATRA, and now we've moved on to full testing now that we've been given the all clear and we know exactly which materials we need to stick to. I hope that I've answered everything there. Let's have a look. When did you order clear screens? I did that. Any delay, or do you need CE approval? No, we're now at full testing. Preliminaries have all been done, all tests done. So it's just a case of waiting for us to be scheduled. As you know from previous, again, I'd said about SATRA, they are inundated with various types of face shield designs. They told me something like 70 different types they were testing at one go, and they just keep coming in. Now, it's a shame that people just don't stick to one or two models, and if they get CE tested and everybody knows what they're printing. But unfortunately, we're in a world where, everybody's willing. We all want to help, don't we? So everybody's doing their own design, but they all need testing. So we have got a bit of backlog at SATRA that we have to also wait for. I don't have a specific date for SATRA, but I know we are assured that they are prioritising everything as fast as possible. They do know we represent a large network across the country, so they are prioritising ours too.
Gareth Whittle, is IGUS open on Saturdays in order to do drop-offs? No, they are only open Monday to Friday, and they only have staff on site from Monday to Friday. Simon, template are frames single use or shipped with multiple visors with a single frame? So it's a single visor, single frame, because they are only single use at the moment, as there's not a cleaning method in place. Also not a cleaning method.
Yeah,
is it even possible in some situations?
Yes,
May I add to that? Because obviously I've looked at the cleaning side of it as well. So I tested the different visor material and the PLA and the PETG, and I put it in sodium hypochlorite, and I left it for 15 minutes as you're supposed to for sterilization. This is what they would do in a hospital. 15 minutes is sufficient to sterilize the whole thing. However, I decided to go one extra and do an overnight test to see what happens to the material. The material was still fine. Then we look at the CE testing and CE standards. Now, for us to be able to say they are reusable, there are various other tests we'd have to go through. So the advice was that ideally we should just say they are single use, and it is entirely up to the NHS or whoever's using them to decide whether they do their own sterilization using the same method I've just said, or they can steam them or whatever they want to. But that is entirely their own responsibility. So we have put it through a single use, and we have to put that through a CE application as well, that they're intended for single use. And then the disclaimer that we send with the visors is it's entirely up to the user to decide what to do with them after that.
Yeah, so you've got to bear in mind also some of these places wouldn't even have facilities to sterilise them, for example, like care homes and whatever else. So Tim H, it would be great to have key stats shared daily on Slack, number of headbands received, number of visors received, number of distributions, funds raised, etc. That is something in process for the website to actually add that on there in a more user-friendly setting. Obviously, we've got to be careful to make sure we're sharing 100% valid figures. So if there is any discrepancies or anything else like that, obviously we need to make sure that we can deal with those as well. So that is something we're looking into. So another one for you, Therese.
Yeah.
Maurice, I asked if you need the CE approval in order to place in place to get the finished product accepted by the NHS. Sorry, I'm completely reading that.
Thank you. That's fine. So, so basically the PPE guidance that came out from government, they've now revised it. They've done a second one, and we're obviously having to keep up with that as well because we don't want to be doing anything untoward. So, it is entirely the NHS England have said that they want CE waiver exemption certificates. And this is why ours is with SATRA at the moment. We do want that CE mark. And if that's the case, then there is no problem in getting these to the front line. And the NHS trusts, the very different trusts across the countries can take them. Now, the added complication is that there are some hospital trusts that are desperate and they are deciding for themselves, it's on an individual basis, whether they wish to take them without the CE approval first. So there is a potential that some trusts might say, just give me the disclaimer, I'll sign it and I'll have them knowing full fact that they are not CE approved yet. Okay, so it is a bit of a tricky situation, tricky ground. Everyone's having to go through the same sort of thing with regards to PPE, whether it's gowns, masks or visors, whatever. The NHS is very clear. There's got to be CE approval for them to be accepted by procurement, but they're now leaving it as a grey area for NHS Trust to decide.
Brian Dunn, will you expand into other PPE equipment, which we have expanded into doing the surgical mask grips? Obviously, we do keep an eye on if there is anything else out there that has a need that can be fulfilled by 3D printing, which is obviously the key point here, which 3D printing is not a golden solution to everything, but we do keep an eye out for other things.
I mean, the only other PPE that obviously is printable at the moment is the actual respirator masks, but to be honest, the reason why we're sort of staying clear of that at the moment is because there's a lot of components that needs to go into that, because obviously we can't 3D print filters, so we'd have to source the filters. They'll need a rubber O-ring around the edge to make it comfortable to wear, and then also they'll need the elastic band strap as well to go around the back of the head. So that's 3 additional components to it, which makes it, when we're doing large quantities, very complex very quickly, because we have to find the resources where to get these other components from, find the funds to get these other components and the correct channels for the logistics of them. So it becomes an exponentially difficult task the more you increase the components within your actual device. So this is why at the moment we're just sticking with the protective face shields and the surgical mask grips. But you know, we are keeping our eyes out for other stuff.
So, Tanya Paul, can you steam them? Again, as Andrew Watt was actually said further on down, you've got the glass transition temperature, which you would be careful of materials. So, they have to be whoever's cleaning them has to be aware of the process that they're using, that they're not going to introduce too much heat into the material, else it potentially, which you could just melt and then become unusable anyway. House of Chung, can you remind the members how we receive requests for visors? So kind of yes and kind of no. Reason being is there is a new process almost ready to launch. But obviously we're working with Med Supply Drive. They send us orders, obviously various other means as well, and other contacts through other groups that contact us of say they require this PPE, and obviously they then get added to the list of orders. With regards to the new system, that's more going to be a system in place on our website that there'll be people be able to place orders on there, including Med Supply Drive and whoever else, to then go through the complete process, so we can literally receive the order and then make the whole process quicker between us being told about it and getting it out the door. So that process is almost done. It just needs a little bit of final polish before we turn it on for everyone.
Just another question. Sorry, Adam, go on.
No, go on, mate.
I was just going to say there was another question mentioned earlier today. Phil's just reminded us of it. Someone asked, do we charge Med Supply Drive? No, we don't. Med Supply Drive, that route is full blown donations. Everything's funded through our Just Giving page. With the material reimbursements and us purchasing these visors or donated visors that we're getting in as well. So yeah, Med Supply Drive is not a paid solution. We do not charge them or anything. It's just full blown donations to Med Supply Drive.
Yeah. Brian Dunn, would TPU be better to use? Definitely not. Would be the short answer to that. NHS State PLA PTG full stop. Yeah.
I'm just conscious about the time as well, Adam.
Yeah. No, so yeah, again, someone saying, can we get some pictures of QC fails from IGUS posted on Slack? This would make clear the process, make sure everyone understands. Yes, with the amount of what IGUS are obviously working on at the minute, they're extremely busy, but that is something I'm trying to get from them, to get some good quality pictures of miscellaneous orders that have had rejected parts. I think the other thing on that, just to be clear of, is if it's got any sharp edges or any other things obviously Mason referred to earlier, or obviously you can see in the QC guide, if it doesn't meet QC, those parts will be deducted from your donation and your points deducted accordingly. Simply reason for that is if we gave everyone all the filament for all the parts that they donated and they don't meet a useful standard, then we would run out of material very quickly, and also we wouldn't be helping as many people as we possibly could by accepting and also sending parts obviously that would be defective.
Adam, can I just quickly jump in and answer a couple of these further down before I run out of time?
Go for it.
So I've seen here that Simon has asked a similar question about how we send them and things like this. If you get CE approval, would NHS requests for PPE be prioritised over care homes, etc.? As you heard earlier, we are working with Med Supply Drive. They have their priority list and will work very closely as to who's the priority. In fact, Med Supply Drive are putting in a whole campaign about care for the care homes as well. So it's about who needs them, because at the moment we're finding there are some hospitals that are now saying their demand is not as urgent. So it's up to Med Supply Drive and for us to work closely with them to tell us where is the urgency, and that's what we need to fulfill. With Tim, he's put, are there any funds available from government? Not aware of anything myself, but if someone had some time to dig around, there might be something. I've been digging, Tim, don't you worry. I am in touch with a government representative and I'm asking for their procurement people to talk to me. They have assured me that my email has been passed on to another department, and then guess what? It got passed on to another department. So I am going to go around the houses a bit, I think, to try and find the right people. But you will find that doors will open the minute we get our SATRA final results. And as soon as we have our CE waiver, I suspect they will definitely come knocking on our door. And that's the intention anyway. That is what I've been told by the Cabinet Office. So that's Tim's answer. JJ Morris, so are you only going through procurement, in other words, delay shipping until CE is done, or is there a significant number going out soon with waiver? Correct, there will be a significant number going out with the waiver. No, we're not waiting around. If people are happy to sign a disclaimer to waive their, that this is not a CE approved item and they're happy to use it with that liability, then why are we hanging on to it? We're not. So I hope that answers your question. Brian Dunn, why? I assume you're referring to TPU. The guidance originally was PLA or PETG to be used. So we're sticking to that at the minute. If you know anything different about TPU, please do let me know. And you can always private message me in Slack and I'll have a look at the data sheets and I will take that up for you and see what the NHS would be happy for us to use. What else have we got? Can you see anything else, Adam, that I've missed?
I'll just gonna say we're gonna we've come to obviously 1:30 now. I'm just having to cut it short. I know people have got other things they need to be getting on with and stuff tonight. So yeah, we'll answer your questions, as we can as well in the Slack channel and stuff after this. And I'd like to just say to everyone, please go to the social media pages, like and share them as much as possible. We should be having a post out tonight about the visors that have arrived. The post may actually be already out now. And yeah, please do your quality control checks on your prints, as much as possible, with every single print, to reduce these amount of rejections. And I'd like to say, also a big thank you to the admin team for getting us this far. We've come at a pinnacle point now. We've got these visors here and we can start getting these out consistently now. So yeah, I'd like to say a big thank you to the admin team and obviously all our partners who have helped, and especially all our community here who's been printing. So yeah, I'll leave it there tonight, and I think we'll do a call on Friday, because I think we'll have some more updates hopefully to you by Friday, because we're still waiting to hear some things back. And yeah, thank you.